Hello, all, and welcome to this afternoon's Cognac Comparison Review, which I am going to dub the discombobulated review because I'm slightly discombobulated right now, but it's for reasons I can't really discuss. But I'm not discombobulated enough to not do a comparison review. So, what will we be comparing and contrasting today? We will be comparing and contrasting Courvoisier VSOP and the Rémy Martin VSOP. I do not have Hennessy to compare it to today, but I only have two brandy glasses, so I might go and get another mini bottle of Hennessy to compare to the Rémy Martin. But yeah. Well, without much further ado, let's just get straight to this, shall we? I'm gonna move this down. Got that white piece of paper so you can kind of see here the coloration. So, let's start by pouring this out. Just checking to make sure they're fairly even. Yep. And I'm just realizing my desk is at an angle now. Yeah, a slight angle just by looking at it. Okay. So, I'm going to move the bottles down because I dribbled a little bit on the bottles and the stuff smells strong enough. But I have them here so I can't go and get them confused. So, we have the Courvoisier and the Rémy Martin. Now, if I remember correctly, the Courvoisier, well, I forget the age notes on both of these, but I'm imagining that they're somewhere in the similar range, being both blends of various materials in between the ages of 5 to 15 years old, as is the case with VSOP expressions. Coloration. You can't really tell here from the white paper but I would say that the Rémy Martin is just a hair shade darker, amber brown, amber orange than the Courvoisier. Likewise, the Courvoisier seems to form slightly thicker legs than the Rémy Martin, though both of them form fairly thick legs. Courvoisier just a bit thicker. Nosing. The Let's go and bring the camera back up here. The Courvoisier is checking my notes really quickly. I did this once before, and I wrote down some notes. I really should have wrote it on a paper instead of on the computer. Fruity. Peach, apricot, general stone fruit, almost a honeyed smell. Underneath that fruitiness, also a floral smell. Reminiscent of jasmine or gardenias. A very slight hint of vanilla oak barrel. All in all, very mellow, very soft, if I may use a different descriptive term, a tactile term to describe smell. Now, onto the Rémy Martin. Also fruity, but there's this herbaceousness as well. The herbaceousness and the fruit are much more intertwined. The herbaceousness, it gives it a much darker note than the Courvoisier. Like black licorice, real black licorice, not fake black licorice. Baking spices. The sweetness in this one melds more with the floral scent. There is that floral scent there also as well. And the slightly stronger scent of vanilla and oak barrels compared to the Courvoisier, that is. Slightly sharper. In bouquet is slightly sharper. Actually, I would say not a good deal, but noticeably sharper than the Courvoisier, which really just is very soft, very perfumey. Onto the palate. And I got to be careful now because the piece of cardboard that I used to go and make my camera balance just fell off. So that thing is just kind of balanced on a razor's edge there. So I'll try not to shake my desk, otherwise it's going to go. So, Courvoisier. Light, there's a sweet fruitiness in the long finish. As well as oak barrel. Other people's tasting notes say that there's a dry finish, and I guess comparatively speaking, it's dry, but it's sweeter compared to the other ones. juicy up front, and in the mids, baking spices and very slight nuttiness comes in. Like I said, I still get residual sugars on the palate with this one. And there's also a woodiness in the long finish as well. Onto the Rémy Martin. Much more spice from start to finish. And the oak barrel is much more present in the mid to finish. And that herbaceous note in the nose is also on the tongue in the long finish as well. There's both a nuttiness and a fruitiness in the front that is interplaying. And while drier than the Courvoisier, still somewhat sweet, still adding nuance to the flavors that are there. Almost like an aromatic marzipan, if you could say it, in the mids. And almost a slight numbing note, too. Okay, back to the Courvoisier. Again, I'm struck by the plushness and softness of this compared to the Rémy Martin. It goes down a lot easier, too. Well, both of them are, I wouldn't call either of them particularly hot drinking. The taste notes here in the Courvoisier, while complex and with nuance, are not as challenging in certain respects as a Rémy Martin. And I think that's not a positive or negative thing, at least by my estimation. It's a different thing. And it's something that one's mileage may vary regarding taste. I must say though, this one would be, the Rémy Martin would be much easier to pair with a cigar, say, than the Courvoisier would be. Just because of the taste profile. Cognac puts me in a contemplative mood. It's a very contemplative alcoholic beverage, I find. Some dried peel, dried fruit peel, also coming out with those baking spices. I'm trying to decide, well, which one do I like more? And honestly, I can't tell you. With the previous comparison review I did, the Courvoisier versus the Hennessy, I really preferred the Courvoisier just because it was more towards my palate. These two, the Courvoisier and the Rémy Martin, they're very different. In fact, I would say that this is the Rémy Martin is quite a bit more different than the Hennessy was from the Courvoisier, but uh, by the mere fact that it's so much more different, I appreciate it in a different way. If you can understand what I'm saying there, and because it's so different, it's very difficult for me to say, oh, I prefer this one or this one. It's really, what would I be in the mood for tonight? And like I said, with the Rémy Martin here, um, I don't usually pair tobacco and alcohol, especially hard alcohols, because I find it, I find it, I find it. While some people, well, actually, a lot of people find that it intensifies and complements each other. I have not found that to be the case. But if you like cigars, if you like, drinking liquor with cigars, this Remy Martin would be one I would suggest. Uh, with a cigar, I'm more of a pipe tobacco person, so I can't really tell you what kind of wrapper or roll you would want with this. But it definitely feels like something that would go well with a cigar, with that spice, with that oak wood, with that subtle sweetness, with that herbaceousness. Whereas with the Courvoisier is something I would have with friends who don't usually drink cognac, just because it goes down so easy and smooth. I think it's be much better as an introductory cognac than, say, the Hennessy or the Remy Martin. So far, anyways. And I'm running into 20 minutes now. And, yeah. So, there's no real winner with this one. They're both quite different in taste profile, somewhat different in nose profile, and I think both well worth exploring. And folks, that is your cognac review for today. And no, I'm not going to drink both of these at the same time. What do you think I am? Insane? I'm going to go and sip water because I need to clear my palate. That's your review, comparison review for today, folks. And there's more stuff coming down the pike for you. Cheers.